Right.
That too.
Get you before you go to the Final Four.
Dumb question, sorry.
Way to speak to existence, man. I love it.
Brendan, go first. Why don't you?
Yeah, RJ. I mean, obviously a lot of memories for you. How are you sort of feeling going into Saturday, and what's going to be your last game here?
I'm excited. Excited, and I don't think I really put into perspective that this is actually my last time playing on the Smith Center floor. So, but I'm just excited because of the stretch that we've had so far, and then this is a huge momentum and confidence booster going into Saturday. So, but just excited because this will be my last time playing. I'll be a little bit emotional, I think. But that's the main thing right now. Yeah.
RJ, how have you adjusted to being the old guy with this group?
Yeah, I mean, it took some time and used to get adjustment wise. I've always, I said this, I think I was talking to somebody, but I've always been the little kid. My freshman year, I had my big brothers were Garrison, Sterling, Playtech, Leaky, even Mondo was older than me, Brady, Pete. And then now it's I look to my left and it's they're all gone and I'm the only one left. So it was kind of weird at first, but I definitely enjoyed being the older guy because I may be old, but I'm still young. And I think having this young group with me kind of made me feel I was still in college a little bit rather than having that feeling of feeling left out. So I've enjoyed it.
I don't know what the exact numbers are, but when you came into school, a lot of guys didn't stay 4 years or even a fifth year because everybody had the opportunity for a fifth year, but you have. You've been here 5 years. That makes you actually very unique suddenly in the modern era of college basketball. What is the long-term benefit for you for having stayed here all 5 years and only having one school that you can associate with?
Yeah, I think it just shows and speaks my loyalty for the school and just the overall how much gratitude and how appreciative I am of this university and just the years I've had staying here all 5 years and building a legacy. I think that's something that I may not have on my mind, but I knew I was capable of doing and wanting to do. And when you come to a university like this and you have a lot of players that have had a lot of success, their numbers in the rafters, they won national championships, and for you, as a little kid, as a freshman, on your mind is just you just want to get your feet wet. You're just trying to figure things out. And for me to stay the next 4 years later and just the way my career had turned out, the way the players I've played with, the success I've had, that's just something that you can only dream of. And I'm glad my journey went the way it did. I'm glad I stayed all 5 years because college you only get once, and you'll never get the type of experience, the type of friendships, the relationships that you built. So what I wanted to do was enjoy it, and I think I did a good job of doing that.
You mentioned Armando. He was very open about the records he wanted to break back in his jersey up here. Obviously, your jersey will be up because you won ACC Player of the Year last year. And your ride's not over yet, but how would you process your personal legacy here and how you might be remembered for what you've done here?
Yeah, I don't know, it doesn't feel real to me. I don't know if it's because I'm still playing. And it doesn't, to me, I don't think I've really put into this magnifying glass of the magnitude of what I did last year. My numbers going in the rafters, I don't really think I really sat back on myself and actually started from freshman year up until now and see what I actually accomplished. And I think that's just speaks to the type of kid I am. But it's just crazy, it's mind blowing because I never told myself okay, as a freshman, you're gonna be ACC Player of the Year, you're gonna be a first team All-American, you're gonna win all these individual awards, you're gonna be playing in a national championship against Duke in the Final Four. It was more just about just going out there and to see if I belonged. And when I look back on this, wow, I came a long way. And just to my legacy, I always said I don't want my legacy just to be known as RJ the basketball player. It's more about RJ the human being and what type of impact I left this place as. I wanted to people remember me as the best teammate they had, the best leader they had, just somebody that they could always rely on. Basketball is everything, but it's not everything. And it was really about more my impact of that I really want my legacy to be remembered as.
RJ, you've obviously played in your share of, crowds, at the Smith Center. Your first year, you didn't have any of that. It was hardly anybody at a lot of those games.
Mm-hmm.
What do you remember about that time, and specifically, I guess, how different it was for you, going into those, settings? Obviously, you would go on to play, in big crowds in years after, but just what do you remember about that time and how strange that adjustment was coming into college?
Yeah, I mean, it was weird because, obviously you watch the UNC versus Duke games, as a kid in high school and even in middle school. You watch it growing up, and you see the rivalry, you see the anticipation of energy building up before those games, and then, as a freshman, you're going, okay, I'm about to play in those games. And then you go out there, and it's just, a deadbeat, it's just, silent, and you're playing in front of the cardboards. So, from my sophomore year, that was the really first time of actually playing a rivalry game and actually feeling that type of energy and environment. So going from playing in a silent gym to 22,000 people yelling and making noise, I mean, that was a crazy experience. That was a fulfilling moment for me right there. And just the overall, I never take for granted what the type of games I played in, the magnitude of the games, the built up energy, the interviews I do with you guys. I never took that for granted because I know at one point in time this could be gone. And as a kid, this is what you dream of. So I always remind myself of that. Whenever I was a freshman and then playing in the Final Four against Duke. So I mean, those are the type of games that you always envisioned yourself as. So once I actually got the chance to actually play in them, I just want to take full advantage of it.
RG, it's been 5 weeks since you guys played Duke the first time. What would you point to as the biggest difference or the biggest differences in this team that you have seen from then to now?
Our mindset and maturity. I think those two key factors have really taken a big step forward. I think our mindset in terms of understanding who we are as a team and our identity. I said to you guys before, I don't think in the beginning of the year and just going throughout the little bit of the first week of ACC play, we didn't really know our identity as a team. And I think we found our recipe this past couple of games, past couple of weeks, leading up into it. I just think our model right now is whatever it takes, and whatever it takes to win. Whether that's, and I think we're diving into doing the little details, the little things that's allowing us to make these stretches, these runs, and overall have fun. And our preparation has been huge, and I think that's what it's been huge for us. And our maturity level, I think, obviously basketball, it was a new team. You have freshmen, you have transfers, so that takes a lot of team chemistry to be built up. But I just think as the season went on, I feel like each player individually, their game matured a little bit, and they felt more comfortable within the flow of the game. So you guys also understand, this is, I almost think, majority of my teammates, first time actually playing in the UNC versus Duke rivalry at Duke. So it's a different type of atmosphere a little bit. So, but I just think as games go on, as bigger games you play in, you feel more comfortable, you feel more confident. So I just think those past 5 weeks have been huge for us. Obviously, we would have wanted a different outcome at Duke, but it was needed.
RJ, to add a follow-up on that, how much did Jalen Withers taking into the lineup, playing more, playing the way he has, sort of helped maybe unlock some of those things you're talking about in the last few weeks?
Yeah, I mean, Jay has been huge. I think it's it might be his tweets that's working. I don't know what it is.
Sure.
Ever since his Twitter, but Jay Witt has been huge for us. His play, the way he's able to shoot the ball, the way he's able to defend. I mean, I'm just proud of him and of him just stepping up big time for us because that's what we need. And he's a really talented and confident kid, and a great teammate to have. So having him being efficient, having him on the floor makes us 10 times better. And he's been doing a good job of constantly just, staying ready when his number's called and just staying within the flow of the game. And he's taking the open shots when it's needed. Sometimes he won't, and he'll try to drive. I'm Jay Witt, you're shooting 40%, shoot the ball. So just little things like that, I mean, just helps us and it instills confidence in us. And he's been supportive this whole time, so we're just doing a good job of just reciprocating that same energy back to him.
RJ, as the leader, was it conscious for you to evolve into doing whatever you had to do to make the team better, or was it something in your mind, or was it just something that happened? You decided we were going to be a lot better if you sacrificed some of the things you did as an individual for the team.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's one of the biggest challenges I've had this year. Was asking myself like, what am I willing to sacrifice for this team, and like being a leader, like it's a full-time job. Like you should be exhausted by the end of the day, and you got to understand that sometimes you got to put the team first, and sacrifice yourself and sacrifice your wants and needs. And I've came to the conclusion where it's like I'm gonna do whatever it takes that where if we win, like I'm more than happy. It's more about us winning rather than individual stats of how I'm playing. Like I'll take.
When you had that chat with yourself, what's the point of this?
I was just throughout the whole year, like preseason. It really started in preseason because I just knew how hard this year was going to be from a basketball standpoint, but also mentally. And I would say like just like the whole year, kind of just instilling into my brain, like just continue to be a leader through good and bad days. Like you're gonna have some good days, you're gonna have some bad days, but your team needs you to be that leader. Your team needs you to be vocal, and that's a challenge. It's hard, but I know I was capable of doing it. So just honestly, just throughout the whole year, that was like my mind frame. That's what my mind was set on. And whether that meant taking less shots and me win by 30, where I needed to score the ball, where I needed to get 8 to 7 assists, like whatever the team needed, like that's what I was willing to do. Because at the end of the day, I just want to win.
Great, thank you very much.
Yep.
RJ, I think we asked Armando this last year. Obviously, your career and the season are not done yet. But
Mhm.
when you think back, do you have a favorite moment so far in the history just of the rivalry and also of your UNC career that you've been a part of?
My most memorable moment, I would say, and my favorite one, I would say like when we beat Duke at Duke, Coach K's last game. Like that one's so special to me because like obviously like the beginning of the year we played them early on here and we got smacked, and then going into that week like everyone thought like the same outcome would happen, and the only guys that really believed in the locker room that we could do, well, the only people in the world that I felt like that really believed that we could do it was us. And like we went into that game like with so much confidence, and like like the world was like lifted off our shoulders, and we went out there and hooped. And like, that's the type of team that and the type of mindset you want to have to go into battle. So like that was for me like by far like the most memorable moment. And also because like we drove back to Franklin, you see like the fans and students like just rush Franklin. So that's up there with the Final Four as well.
RJ, as players, how conscious are you guys of metrics, whether Q1 or Q quad 2?
Mm-hmm.
And does that put any more pressure on you guys, or relieve any pressure as far as Saturday is concerned?
Yeah, I mean we're basically like, caught up on today about it. Like obviously there's a lot of metrics and different information that goes into it, but in terms of like wanting to win, like points wise, like winning by 20, compared to like winning by 10, like that means more. And I don't really know how like the quad net really works, but I do understand that like we put ourselves in positions to make a run, and hopefully, and God willing, what I envision making the tournament as well. So we don't really put too much pressure on ourselves. I think it's more seen as an opportunity. I think perspective is everything, and like yes, like we don't like to like rely on other teams. Like, oh, this team has to win, this team has to lose. It's really about controlling what we can control, and that's just taking it one game at a time and knowing that we could beat any opponent. So, like yeah, we see like the quad 1 wins, and this win was a quad 2, but at the same time, we just got to take care of business.
RJ, with obviously the move to the bigger starting lineup, I know you were talking about Jalen Withers earlier, but I guess having that rotation, if you will, in there, how much do you think that'll kind of, I guess, help going against the Duke team that, obviously has the size and length that they do? I know that was a, significant factor last time you played. How much do you think the, I guess, adjusted lineup will kind of help you all in that?
I think it'll be huge for us. I think, obviously because, Duke, they're basically 6'4" and up from all the positions, from point guard all the way to the big. So I just think having a bigger lineup gives us an advantage to match up with them, from the guards all the way down to the big. So I just think our game plan, our preparation has to be huge going to them because they're a really good and talented team that play really well together, but so are we. So I just think we have to do a good job of kind of just staying sharp at all times. And I just think having that bigger lineup, because I don't know, like their big man's like 7 feet, yeah, and Cooper's like 6'10", something like that. So like having Jay Witt, who's taller, more athletic, him playing him at the 4, I think that would be a huge advantage for us.
You guys are very different now than you were then. Adam asked you to go back and look at the changes, but you're playing bigger, the approach is a lot different, everything about just watching you is different. Is it easy to dismiss a lot of what happened in that first game because you guys are approaching things so differently? Or do you not dismiss it because you go back and look at everything that happened and maybe get a little extra fuel that way?
Nah, I mean, there's no need to dismiss it. Like, we knew what happened. We knew that they beat us pretty good and pretty bad. So we're not dismissing that feeling. We're not dismissing that experience that we had. And I think that's adding fuel to the fire of, like this is what happened in the first game. Let's not make it happen again. But, yeah, like you said, like, we are a different team. We have a different vibe about ourselves. We have a different confidence about ourselves. And like I said, like, our maturity level is better and our comfortability is better. So I don't think dismissing that game that we played with them early on in the year doesn't do any benefits for us. I think we should have that in the back of our mind to use that as going into Saturday.
Couple more, please.
I want to get back to RJ. Excuse me. I want to get back to this being your last home game, and obviously when you come to school, your family come with you emotionally through the whole period.
Mm-hmm.
I'm curious what kind of conversation your dad, because I know he's always got a lot of chatter. Even when I talk to him, I'm curious about what kind of conversations you guys have had regarding this being your last game.
Yeah, I mean, we really just talked about like the whole journey, just from like high school up until now. Like, obviously this is like another chapter that's closing, and we really just kind of just like reminisced on me being a freshman up until now, and I always joke with him, like, I'm telling him I'm like in my prime I'm better than him, and so like we'll have a lot of back and forths. But overall he was just telling me like how proud he is of me, and just what I've accomplished, what I had to overcome to get to this point where I'm at today. So I mean, I don't think he can be a more proud father than he is now. So that was really just like the conversation we had.
RJ, I heard you the other night at Virginia Tech when you said, let's cool it a little bit on the 2022 comparison. To
Yeah.
That team getting hot and
Mm-hmm.
this team getting hot. Like, what has made you want to do that? To be like, let's not compare these teams. Like, why is it important for you to sort of make that distinction?
Yeah, I just don't like the idea of comparisons. I don't see any benefits of it. Like, these are two different teams and two different time periods, and I just don't like how like obviously there could be positives and negatives to it, but at the same time, like, I'm a big believer in like different journeys and different paths. Like 2022 had a different path than 2025 team, so that's why I don't really like doing the comparisons of it. We have a whole different team compared to 3 years ago, so I just kind of like let it be as that. And God willing, and how I envision it, if this run turns out how 2022 did, then we can talk about the comparisons. But other than that, I just try to keep things separate and just focus on this year.
RJ, you mentioned your
Last
legacy.
one.
You mentioned your legacy and obviously how you want to be remembered. When you think, you arrived during the pandemic. Obviously, college basketball's changed a lot. When you think about the program that you arrived to and the program that you're going to be leaving at the end of the season, like, do you feel like you've left North Carolina in a better place? How would you compare the program you got to versus the one you're leaving now?
I feel like I'm leaving this place as a better athlete, as a better man, and I do feel like when I stepped onto campus during COVID with a mask on, and now leaving as a young man, I feel like I left this place better than when I came in with, and I've learned a lot over the years, from basketball, from school to life, and like I wouldn't want my journey or my my chapter of this life to be any different or to go any other way. I've like enjoyed every single part of it, and the good, the bad, the ugly, the roller coasters, the highs and the lows. It just gave me a clear picture of what life is, and I just like the legacy that I've built. I think it has a common theme of dealing with adversity and how to overcome that, and like that's what I really like preach on and harp on, because that's what life throws at you. Like sometimes life will go your way, sometimes it won't, and how do you respond to that really defines like who you are as a person. So that's how I envision like my last 5 years of being here, and the legacy I've built here has been phenomenal, and I'm just proud of the way that I persevered through it all and had fun through it, even when things weren't going my way. And that's really that's really all I can just be proud of myself of, is consistently being consistent. And even when others didn't think I was, just staying true to myself. And I think that's the best way to put it.
Thanks, RJ. And lastly,
Hold on one second,
Luke has
RJ.
one.
So, I'm Luke DeCock from the NNO. The NNO, in conjunction with other local media, every year we give out the Carlton Tudor Award, named after our late columnist. Goes to the Triangle basketball player who's most cooperative with the media. So RJ's done this more than a lot of people in this room have over the years. But we're thrilled to announce that RJ is the winner of this year's Carlton Tudor Award. He joins Marcus Page, Theo Pinson, and Armando Baycott as winners from North Carolina. So congratulations.
Appreciate
Thank you. Yep.
Thanks, guys.